This video is made possible by CuriosityStream and Nebula. Watch another full-length companion video to this one that explores Israeli cities. The system is so advanced it has a 90 to 95% success rate and has literally destroyed thousands of enemy rockets. So, how does it all work? Well, in order to understand how the system protects Israel like a giant shield, you first have to understand the problem that the Iron Dome system solved. Beginning in the 1990s, Hezbollah, a militant Islamist group based in Lebanon, began firing rockets into northern Israeli population centers. During the 2006 Second Lebanon War, 4,000 rockets fired from Hezbollah landed in northern Israel, including Israel's third largest city, Haifa. While to the south, more than 8,000 additional projectiles were fired over a period of several years into Israel from within the Gaza Strip, primarily by Hamas. Between Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in the Gaza Strip, nearly 2 million Israeli citizens were within direct range of these rocket attacks, posing a massive security risk to the Israeli state. In the past, if 1,000 rockets were to fall upon Israeli cities without any defense system in place, the Israeli army itself would have to invade Gaza or Lebanon in order to put a stop to it, which they did in 2009. And so, in 2007, the Israeli military began developing what would eventually be called the Iron Dome, a missile defense system intended to cover the entire country and designed to give the Israeli government crucial time deciding what to do during future conflicts without being forced into another ground invasion. Eventually, and of course, the United States got involved with the funding and development of the system under the Obama administration, and within just a few years, Iron Dome shot down its first missile in 2010 and was deployed for the first time near the town of Beersheba in 2011. Okay, so that's pretty much the whole problem in a nutshell. Here's how the Iron Dome system solves it. A typical air defense missile battery consists of 3 primary components: a radar unit to initially locate and detect threats, a missile control unit that decides when to fire interceptor missiles, and essentially acts as the brains.
Hello, Mr. Four. I have not heard you say no more leaks, but I am assuming you did, so I am not donating a link.
That's very kind and perceptive of you.
Scattered pattern. Each Iron Dome launcher contains 20 interceptor missiles, which are each independently deployed and operated via a secure wireless connection that can protect an area up to 75 kilometers away in every direction. Okay, so here's how the system works live in action. Imagine a rocket has just been fired from within Gaza and is heading into Israel. Most of the time, these rockets are classified as dumb rockets, meaning that it has no internal guidance system and is simply just fired into the air at an angle, and wherever it lands is largely just based upon the laws of physics. Shortly after the rocket is first launched, the Iron Dome radar system detects it and begins to track the threat and where it might land. One single Iron Dome system is advanced enough to simultaneously track 1,000 rockets or projectiles at the same time. Now, shortly after beginning to track the incoming threat, the second step of the process requires that the Iron Dome system begin to implement a complex series of algorithms used to determine more about the rocket and its trajectory. Essentially, it's just using the laws of physics, but has to also constantly adjust for all sorts of external and variable factors, like wind, weather, and more, but it doesn't just stop there. From here, the system also analyzes the probable landing location and determines whether or not it is located in a populated area or near a military base. If the rocket is determined to just be heading for an empty field in the middle of nowhere, then it doesn't really make any sense to fire a precious missile in order to intercept it, especially when you consider the fact that each of these interceptor missiles can cost as much as $100,000 a piece. On the other hand, though, if the projectile is calculated to be heading for a city or a military base, then the system kicks in a gear and will deploy a missile to go and destroy it. And these are no ordinary missiles. They're extremely fast, traveling at over 2.5 times the speed of sound. But they're also incredibly smart and capable of tracking an incoming object and even changing to a different incoming rocket mid-flight. With its large grid fins and high maneuverability, its sensors are able to quickly adapt to evolving threats, and once it arrives within range of the enemy projectile, the interceptor will detonate its 35-pound explosive payload, launching shrapnel in every direction that'll destroy the incoming rocket.
Alright, now you know about the Iron Dome.
X-rays down. She's alive, under control.